You're just thinking, don't talk to me. I'll tell you how. Empathy. This guy here, who I've been working with for a few months now, is the master empathy salesman. He can do stuff with people like, I'm like blown away. I'm like, whoa, this is so cool what he does. And so what we're going to do in a few weeks' time, and Bobby's going to tell you more about this at another point, but we're going to take Farhan and we're going to stick him on a stool in the middle of a room for 3 hours. And I'm going to use NLP to interrogate him to figure out how and why he does what he does. Why and how is he able to have so much influence on people in a really, really small amount of time? You will have to sleep for 24 hours after I've done that. You know why? I'm going to rip his subconscious out of his head and show everybody what's going on in there. Who'd be fascinated to see that kind of thing done? That'd be pretty cool, right? And so we're going to do that with Farhan as a demonstration of where this empathy comes from, because it can be developed. So the second thing is like. Do they have to like us? What did I say? No. But we have to like them. You have to like the person in front of you. Tom said, when he's looking at culture and things like that, yeah, it's got to be genuine. Like you've got to like your team. You've got to fall in love with them. They've got to fall in love with you back, etc. But it's the same in sales. You have to like the person in front of you. Now, can you like everybody? Is everybody likable? I tell you what, let's do an exercise. I want you to think about the person you least like in this room, and I want you to... No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That would be interesting, right? There's one person thinking, am I going to get a crowd? No. And so here's the way this works, okay? They must know that you like them. So what you must develop the skill of doing is finding something to like about people. Everybody has a facet, a personality trait, something about them which you can look at and you can focus on, and when you focus on that one thing, they feel the light that you like them. Does that make sense? And it's remarkable the difference it makes when you literally go from being, I could like or dislike this person, they're not really my type, I don't like guys with beards, whatever. If you can, who laughed about the beards thing? Were you thinking, I wonder when this is going to come out, right? And so we've got to get beyond that. And the way you get beyond that is finding that one thing to like. And I can tell you, it's transformational. When you get to a point where you can literally look at somebody, whoever it is, any single person ever you meet, and you can find something about them and like, you watch the difference in how they relate to you. It's insane. Yeah? Could you all do that? I'm getting a lot of passive, like, I don't...
I'm really good at doing that. Sometimes they're like, oh, I like your handbag, or I like your this and that. It creates a connection.
Is that your handbag they like? I get exactly where you're going. No, I get exactly where you're going. So, a lot of this stuff is like really deep, and it's like takes a long time to get out, but I want you to take away some stuff. Most importantly, what I want you to do is stop believing everything you're told. Because you'll take on a whole bunch of stuff, and you'll go to work on it, like what they say you should do in sales, and it will actually hinder you. It'll make you not a very nice person. I know that because I spent 7 years being not a nice person. Because the sales trainers taught me how to sell to people, to get them to do stuff, to manipulate them. And I will tell you, you don't need to do any of that kind of stuff. Okay? And so one of the things we need to understand is, again, Tom hinted at some of this earlier on, and I'm just going to follow up a little bit on it. But the way people think. You need to be masters of understanding how other people think. And so that book there, Psycho-Cybernetics, will teach you self-awareness. It will show you how to understand yourself better. When you can understand yourself better, guess what happens? You can understand everybody else around you better. So the starting point is self-awareness. Who's been listening to Farhan and I on our 8 o'clock rants and raves on, what do we talk about most of the time? Self-awareness. I'll fill the blanks in. Self-awareness, yeah? So, most of the time it's self-awareness. We keep going back to it over and over and over again. And I promise you, spending time becoming self-aware radiates from you. It makes everybody else fall in love with that little bit more. Because you can't love other people until you love yourself, am I right?
Yes.
So the starting point is you've got to fall in love with you. Yeah? I am. In a nice way, you get my point, right? Like, I've got a wonky ear. Has anybody noticed that? You all have now, haven't you? Like, you're thinking, wow, look at that wonky ear. How did you ever pull a woman? I know, but, so I've got the wonky ear, yeah? Am I a Tom Cruise? Oh, look at you. You're But I fell in love with all my foibles and stuff years ago. I just love who I am. I feel great in my skin. I don't want to be somebody else. I don't need to be somebody else. This is it. God gave me this and I'm happy with it. Does that make sort of sense? How much do you think that impacts when I go into the world and I don't carry any of that baggage with me about how I need to be somebody else? It would be better if I had X or Y. Do you think that makes it easier and more pleasurable? Because like Tom was saying, most people it's about identity. We're taking that identity with us. So understanding is super, super important. But one of the things that we really need to know when we're talking to people in a dental environment, which I've noticed you guys don't get. So this is directly related to dental. When two people come together, yeah. When two people come together, there's a conversation going on, right? When you speak, the average person in the UK today speaks at about 100, I'm going to call it 150 to help the maths get right. But this person here is speaking at about 150 words per minute. Have you any idea, ladies don't answer this, men, have you any idea how many words per minute the average person in the UK thinks at? Who said 300?
The one who can't really stop shop.
He wanted to dance so much. 600 words a minute. The average person thinks at 600 words per minute. Now, if someone is thinking at 600 words per minute and you're talking at 150 words per minute, who are they listening to, themselves or you? As I've been talking now, most of you have not been listening to me most of the time. Because I say something and then you start to think. And then you go, oh, hang on a minute, back in the room. Is that true? Who's noticing themselves doing that? Yeah? So think about that in a sales environment. Somebody comes in and they're going, you're going to sell me, you're going to convince me to do full arch today, you're going to do X, Y, Z. Are they actually in the moment thinking about what you're saying? No. They're thinking as a buyer. When did you create your sales pitch, guys? You've got one. Even if you didn't say that, you say the same things every single time to get somebody to be compliant, and make a decision. You all do. When did you create it? In the last 12 months? 2 years ago, maybe? Some of you have been in the business a long time. You've been saying the same thing for what, 5 years, maybe? Do you know when the buyer created their buyer's playbook? 40,000 years ago. 40,000 years ago, people learnt to buy. In fact, they learnt to be afraid. They learnt to be afraid of tigers and salespeople. And that's been building and evolving and passing down through DNA for the past 40,000 years. So when they come into us, who's going to win? Them or us? They win every single time because they've got a better buy book than us. They're thinking at 600 words a minute and they're not listening to what we're saying. And so I've heard this said repeatedly by people who are supporting the dentists. They will say things like, listen, I've just been in with a dentist, super important guy. I came out, do you mind if I ask you a few questions? And it was all the stuff that the dentist said, but they didn't hear. They didn't hear because they was in fear. They didn't hear because they were listening to themselves think and not you talk. Does that make sense? And so they come out and you think you've done a good job and they're actually as confused as heck. And then they go find somebody who's approachable when they've got all that garbage out their head about sales, and they go and say, could you just help me for a few minutes? I want to know about this, and when does it happen, and what would it cost? Is that true? Did anybody notice that? Because I'm hearing it all over the place. So the thing is, you've got to understand how people are thinking. And here's the number one reason why people do not buy. Because I keep getting this. People are saying, I need better conversions. I need to be able to convert better. Yeah? It's super easy. The reason why people don't buy, most of the time, the number one reason, irrespective of what you're selling, and I've sold everything, is because they don't understand. Yeah? They just don't understand. They don't understand what they're considering. They don't understand what the impact's going to be. They don't understand what the terms were, actually. But you know what people don't do? They don't ask to be repeated. Oh, could you say that a bit again? Could you tell me a bit more explicitly? They don't do that. They just, oh, thanks, this has been really useful and interesting. I'll go away and think about it. Who said that? That's a lie. They're just going away because they don't understand. And I guarantee this, if you can help them to understand, they will buy on the spot, and price is the least important thing. If you can fill that gap in between the 150 and 600 words, you can silence that internal conversation. If you can do it in a super creative way, then you will have 100% of their attention.
Sorry, question.
Yeah, absolutely.
In that context, I totally agree with what you're saying there. From a timing point of view, logistically in practice, so you've had that conversation for like whatever the situation is. How critical is the timing there? Is that something that that person leaves your consultation room and they go and talk to someone straight away about it? Is it a follow-up phone call, another face-to-face interaction?
Okay, so what should happen is it should all be done within that conversation. They shouldn't need a second conversation. Okay? And so here's what happens. You guys think you talk simple, because you do talk simple compared to the conversations you have with each other, but it's not simple for them. Does that make sense? Plus they're bringing in the baggage of, someone's going to sell something to me, so I better go on the protection. I better protect myself a little bit. Does that make sense? Yeah? And so what I want to share with you, Bob, how much time have I got left now?
You got up to half an hour.
Oh, right, cool, right. So we're going to do some interactive stuff now. Oh, look at the eye contact, like, oh, not me. Don't want to do that kind of stuff. So I guess what we're going to do is I'm going to walk through a couple of examples. Now, these are not dental examples. I'm building those out at the moment. And so you're going to see some new stuff come to the market in the next, 4, 5, 6 weeks, something like that, which will be very dental specific. But what I want to do today is pattern interrupt you. I want you to see some things you've never seen before. And I want you to look and go, man, like, there are no rules. We can do anything we want. We can be we. We don't have to do what other people say. And so to do that, I brought a few, as you can see, props. So here's how I sell very high consultancy deals. Or this is how I pick up clients in elevators. You've heard about the elevator pitch, haven't you? I actually carry around 4 apples. And I close deals in elevators. Like literally in the elevator from people who've never met me before. Yeah? No, like, and trust. What do we have? We have trust, because I know how to get to their subconscious real fast. So that's one thing I can show you. We got another one where I showed a company how to close very, very expensive computer deals. So this is a puppet, by the way. I don't want anybody going, he did something with a tortoise today. I'm like, this is a puppet. And this guy showed how to close deals in 20 minutes, which were taking an hour. And then they were saying, oh, this is great, but I need to think about it. Can you send me a proposal? What does that sound like? I don't understand what the hell you've been talking about for the last hour, yeah? But I showed them how to walk in with the tortoise and close the deals in 15, 20 minutes. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? The tortoise never got harmed. How about bowler hats? I've done this thing with accountants where somebody walks into the accountant's practice and there's 4 bowler hats on the table, and literally within 7 minutes, somebody was just shopping around, looking for another accountant, because better the devil you know than you don't, so I might stay with the existing one. But 7 minutes later, they're going, oh, man, if I can afford you, I'm in. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? What are you thinking, Tom? Tom's thinking, what?
I'm excited to see how this works.
This is another one I use to do really, really big 100K consultancy deals. I walk into places with a teapot, pink teapot, fetching, don't you think? And I walk in with this, and literally 20 minutes later, people are saying, I'm in. Yes, I want to buy. Not only that, can I get the rest of the team in to see that? Because I want them to see how we should be doing this kind of stuff. Because we're obviously clearly doing it wrong. Make sense? So we're going to walk you through at least one of these, and if anybody wants to see more at lunchtime, super happy to share more at lunchtime. But let me ask you a question. Who sort of wants to see at least one of these? Yeah. Why? Because this is crucial to the rest of your life.
You sold it to us.
Sold it through curiosity.
Yeah.
Curiosity is the key. You've got to make people curious. So the thing I'm working with Farhan, I'm going to be working with, is how do we make people curious about the outcome within literally the first 2 or 3 minutes of walking into a dentist? And it's not about selling what you're selling. Seriously, it's not. Because none of these things are about what we're selling, are they? Yeah? So I had a dentist once and said, oh, I like all this stuff, it seems really cool. I bought a prop from a film company of a huge toothbrush. So I'll just have that under my arm. Like, no. That's not the work, is it? It's crass. Yeah? So we're going to walk through that. But to kick things off and to fill this gap in here, I want to do a demonstration to show you guys the power of language and body language. Because body language is hugely important. And what I've seen Farhan do is be quite remarkable with his body language. Body language is how we really communicate. It's not the words. But we need the words, obviously, to translate the body language, but actually it's the body language which converts. So we're going to do a demonstration. So I need one beautiful person in the room. Farhan, you'll do. Farhan, would you like to join me? Now, Farhan has not, we've not rehearsed this?
Nope.
We've not rehearsed this. He wanted to do, but we haven't. And so we are just going to freewheel with this, okay? And I want you to see how, as a seller, you can control people and they won't mind being controlled. People actually want to buy. You get that, right? People have two things which are important to them, hope and trust, when they come into a sales environment. They hope desperately that you can solve their problem and change their life. They hope. The second thing is they're hoping they can trust you enough to make the decision right now. They don't want to go away and think about it. They want to get it dealt with. But we don't create enough hope and trust, so they wander off and go and think about it. And guess what they do when they think about it? They talk to their friend, and the friend says, oh, I've got a great dentist, why don't you come to my great... You get my point. You lose business simply just because of this. So this environment, Farhan, is going to be, you're buying a kitchen today. How do you feel about that?
My wife's tethering on.
Well, that's why we're doing it without your wife here, because if your wife was here, you'd be buying a new kitchen after this, okay? And so here's what's going to happen. I'm going to pretend I'm the showroom salesman, and Farhan has wandered into my beautiful kitchen showroom. And I'm going to tell you a little bit more of this story this afternoon about how we get people in the showroom in the first place. But Farhan has wandered in, and I'm over here doing what salespeople do, reading a news. No, they don't read newspapers now. I'm showing my age, aren't they? They're playing on their socials, and they look up and think, oh, customer. That's an annoying thing. So they get up, and they walk over, and they say, what do I say? Can I help you? Who said that? Fantastic. So we've got part one of the script, the buyer script, and Farhan says,
Just browsing.
whoa! How predictable is that? How predictable is that? I know he's going to say one or two things. No thanks, I'm just looking, or I'm just browsing. Even if he's hot to buy. Yeah? Even if he's done what he normally does, is carry around 20k in his back pocket, and he's buying today. He's not going to buy right now because you've now pushed him away. So now what he wants to do, he wants to look. What's going to happen when he looks around? He's going to get confused. Do confused people buy? No. People don't want choice, they want what they want. It's our job to quickly, efficiently show them what we got that matches what their wants are. Does that make sense? It's not to show them choice. And so one of the biggest mistakes I see people doing is giving people choices. People don't want choices. That's why you're there. And so we're going to play this out a little bit now and practice a little bit, okay? And no pressure in front of all the people that know you, all the people that you've done social media to and all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be over here, and I walk out, and I want you to watch the whole thing. I don't want you to be looking at your phones or thinking about something else. In the moment, switch off the 600 words, okay? And I walk out and say, just in for a browse?
Yes.
See what I did there?
Yes.
I said to him what he was thinking. Who's in control? You. Who was in control the first time round? So I just gained control in one sentence because I said what he was thinking. Now I've taught this in Mercedes showrooms, I've taught this in very high value computer show, I've taught this all over the place, and they're like, oh my God, like for the past 50 years we've been saying, can I help you? And people say, no thanks, I'm just looking. And in one sentence, we switched the power control, okay? So I'm going to do it again. Okay? We're going to do the next sentence. So I walk, don't change the script this time, right? Just do the normal thing. Don't get clever, Fairhan. So I walk over and I say, just in for a browse?
Yes.
Fantastic. I'll just give you the quick guided show and then I'll let you get on with the browse. Okay. Look at him. Look at him. He's like, I don't want to follow him because I'm not supposed to follow him. That's what's going on in his head, right? But you could not resist, could you?
No.
I did this with a chief inspector of police in Manchester on stage in front of 500 people, and he followed me across the stage. He went, how did you do that? That's never happened. I'm the boss. I decide what happens. But people become very complicit, very, very fast. Compliant, should I say. Very compliant, very, very fast. If you understand language. If you understand the 600 words a minute that's going on in the head. Because here's what's happening. When he walks in the showroom, what's he repeating inside his head?